Hi, Emily. How are ya?
Hi.
I was thinking that um, today you might feel a little bittersweet along with me. It's our last session together, and I want to start by saying that I'm so proud of you and the work that you've done, and you've really shown up for yourself, and that's really not easy when you're carrying so much. So,
Yeah, it does feel weird, right? Like I wasn't sure that I would even make it to this point.
yeah, and yet here you are, right? You've come a long way since our first session. Do you remember where we started?
Yeah, I definitely felt like I was drowning. Like I didn't even recognize myself. I
Yeah.
was crying all the time. I was totally overwhelmed, and I just felt like I was failing at being a mom and a wife.
Yeah, I remember that too. When you came in, you were, experiencing some really strong symptoms of postpartum depression and anxiety, feeling disconnected and hopeless and overly worried about your baby and, like you couldn't really ask for help. And, through our work together, you've really challenged those thoughts and practiced new skills and, even began rebuilding some of your connections again.
Yeah, I don't feel like I'm failing all the time anymore. I still have some hard days, but I don't like spiral the way that I used to.
Yeah.
And I know it's okay to ask for help now. Like, I feel like
Mhm.
I'm more patient with my baby, with my wife, and also, like with myself, which I think is huge.
Yeah, that insight is huge. You really have done a lot of hard work to get here, and I want to take a few minutes to kind of reflect on those specific goals that we set early on to kind of see how far you've come. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So one of your first goals was to reduce the intense feeling of you not being adequate, right? You were feeling a little bit of inadequacy and anxiety related to parenting. And you've made some super strong progress by using that CBT technique that we talked about in our last session to kind of challenge those negative thoughts. Do you remember that? The thoughts that we started with?
Yeah, I remember thinking like they were really awkward at first, and now
Mhm.
like I catch myself reframing without even writing it down.
Good. Yeah. So reflecting back on what we talked about last week, it seems like that technique was helpful for you then.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that automatic shift in thinking is a sign that your brain has started to internalize those new patterns, right? You've created those new loops. Another goal that we had at the beginning was reconnecting with your baby and your wife, right? You talked about wanting to enjoy time with them again. How does that feel now?
I think we're definitely in a much better place. I've let go of trying to be perfect, and
Mhm.
now I'm just trying to be present, right?
Okay, yeah.
I even started like taking the baby to the park by myself, and sometimes I never thought I'd feel okay doing that.
Yeah.
And then my wife and I have been just communicating better too.
Good. That's amazing. That's awesome. Reconnecting with yourself and your partner and your baby. Those are all things that you hoped for, and you made them happen. And you also identified needing more support. How has that changed for you?
I've definitely been more open with my mom lately.
Okay.
And I actually joined a parenting group. It's small, but it helps a lot. I don't feel so alone anymore. Like it's nice to hear from others that like they're going through the same thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. I hope that you're really taking that in about like how much stronger and more confident you've become in just such a short time.
Thank you. Yeah, it's weird, but I actually feel like proud of myself, and I never thought I would get here.
Yeah, you should feel proud of yourself. You've put in the effort and you've allowed yourself to be vulnerable and open to change, and that's not easy. Um, as we wrap up, I kind of want to briefly review everything that we've covered, right? Your diagnosis was postpartum depression, with anxiety. We used that cognitive behavioral therapy as a primary kind of focus, to kind of highlight those thought challenge, how we want to challenge those negative thoughts that you were having and switch them around. Some behavior activation and self-compassion, right? You practice a lot of coping strategies and kind of slowly built your support system. And these tools you'll be able to carry forward, after we've ended together. So that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like everything's perfect now, but I feel like I can handle things, which before I definitely did not feel like that, right? I felt so overwhelmed and everything. And I feel like I just trust myself more.
Yeah, that's such a beautiful way to put it, right? Trusting yourself enough to know things aren't going to be perfect, but that you'll handle it and that it'll be okay. Now, before we close out, I would like to talk about what ongoing support will look like for you. Even though our time together is ending, your journey will continue. Do you have a plan in mind for kind of maintaining this progress for you?
Yeah, I think I want to keep journaling. And I'm going to keep going to that parenting group because I
Good.
really enjoy that. And I think it's really helpful. I've also looked into a support group at the community center that I thought maybe that would be beneficial too for me.
Yeah, that sounds like a great plan. You've built a really great network of support. And if things start to feel heavy again, you know the signs to look for and that it's always okay to ask for help. Um, I can always also provide you with referrals if you decide that you would like to continue therapy in the future. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, yeah, thanks. I'll definitely keep that in mind. Um, right now I think I want to try this on my own.
Yeah, and I fully support that. I think that you are ready for that. Just know that your growth and your strength, and your openness have been so inspiring, and it's really kind of been an honor to walk beside you through this part of your journey. And I hope it continues for you.
Thank you. Yeah, I definitely don't know where I would be if I hadn't come in that first day. So thank you so much for all your support and all your knowledge with all of this. It's been so helpful.
Yeah, and thank you. You did all the hard work. I wish you nothing but, continued strength and peace as you move forward, and I think that you've got this.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
Thanks, you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.